Oh, what a day! What a lovely day!
Welcome to Flat Earth Debate Christmas Eve Special Edition. I'm your host Nathan Oakley, and if you're new to this channel, or you've not done so already, then be sure to subscribe and hit the bell notification icon to keep up to date with the Flat Earth Debate. If you'd like to support the channel, there is a super chat that runs alongside each of these shows while they premiere, and there's also a PayPal, Patreon and crypto link in the info box below the video. Speaking of Patreon, I'm going to do a very quick and massive shout out to all of you who do support me on Patreon. So a massive shout out to Abraham Mohammed, Adrian Quintala, Alistair Main, Billy Highvolt, Burn Fat Till My Stomach Is As Flat As the Earth, Chow Young Cat, Dank, Dave Rakia Gafford, David Wayne Foster, Edwin Johnson, Owen Jennisons, Felix Hung, Fireball X, Godrockin, Henrik86, Jeronism, Joshua Balsimo, Kirsten Smith, Liam Nedrick, Life is Short, Matt, Missouri Bear, Nagara, Naibai, Reinhardt, Rene, Qatar Craig, Sally Ballis, Silver Umbrella, Skeptic936, Texas Mike, The Flat Earth Sun, Moon and Zodiac Clock App, theflatearthchannel.com, Tina Baker and Tom Herkins. So a massive shout out of appreciation to all of you for supporting me on Patreon. I really do appreciate it. So, with Christmas festivities in mind, a couple of days to go, I'm going to raise the mic on both Discord and G Plus panels, and you can enjoy their dulcet tones while I set up for the next live show.
It's very much into this topic, I think, and people's abilities to let go of what authorities have taught us.
I think they miscategorized authorities because pseudoscientists are not authorities.
But in the realm of science,
nature be authoritative?
Say again, Paul?
Shouldn't the truth, by its very nature, be authoritative?
Authoritative is the wrong word. It's empirical, or the empiricism that is asked for here is the level and standard that is asserted. The two aren't the same, but they're used interchangeably by fundamentalist religious zealot globeheads. In other words, when they say science, they mean pseudoscience. As an example, science doesn't prove anything. Well, yes, science is an empirical method of establishing cause and effect based on systematic experimentation by way of hypotheses. So, science definitely does prove things. But what they've actually been using is pseudoscience. And pseudoscience doesn't prove anything. And may be subject to change. So, they change their just so story, otherwise known as pseudoscience, whilst simultaneously asserting to their audience that they've got science. And when caught out, they simply say, oh, well, science doesn't prove anything, it just lends to the evidence. Evidence being proof, proof being empiricism, proof being actual science that they don't have.
And notice how the narrative is all fucked up, because one of them came in and said, oh, it's a closed system. Immediately, the next one said it's open. So which one is it again?
Well, it's claimed to be an open system. So the heliocentric, reified, sphere model world of a globe Earth in a vacuum is claimed to be an open system. They've got things travelling out from the claimed to be sphere Earth with gas pressure attached, not dispersing into the sky vacuum, out into the sky vacuum to visit these strange alien worlds, which we as flat earthers simply refer to as lights in the sky. Claimed to be vast bodies of rocks and gases not dispersing also into the vacuum of the sky. So the whole bullshit narrative falls apart by application of the second law of thermodynamics. These claim to be gas bodies that they travel out to through their open system also violate the second law of thermodynamics, as does the gas pressure we experience here on Earth.
You can't have a closed system exchanging matter because a closed system doesn't exchange matter. So if you have something exchanging matter, by definition, it's not a closed system. Duh.
Well, but Puppy Lover in the Discord live stream says it's an approximation, QE, where it's approximately closed.
Yeah, on their model.
No, you can't have approximately. You can't have approximately here. It either is or is not. It's either a 1 or a 0.
In reality.
So,
in reality,
can't be a little pregnant.
In reality, it's either exchanging matter or it isn't. In their model, you can do whatever you like. You know, you can change the values, you can have approximately open systems, you can have gas pressure not dispersing into vacuums. You can do all sorts of crazy nonsense in a model. We don't live on a model, though.
Yeah, you just press the matter button, and matter is allowed to leave the closed system.
Or
As
you,
simple as that. Just press the button.
or you
They
drag
open
a
the
little,
hatch.
or you drag a little slider
Yeah.
and bend light. You know, things like that. You can do all sorts of crazy stuff in models, but we don't live on them.
The sky vacuum is the limit.
Yeah, the sky's definitely not a vacuum.
You can math anything you want.
Yeah, curvature. The housekeeping question, any signs of Earth curvature, is based around them reifying the horizon into an edge. So the edge that we get asked for, no, that's their projection of the fact that they utilise a reified horizon edge in their model when they transpose their model by way of reification into the actual existence we experience. Well, their edge is a not actual location we would accurately call the horizon. A not actual location where they have boats going over when they simultaneously ignore perspective. So let's ignore the fact that it's reducing in angular size, give it a constant fixed value of 100 foot. That 100-foot boat's going over that reified edge of my sphere belief. Oi, flat earther, where's your edge? What are you talking about? I don't claim any edge, but you've got an edge. Boats are going over it, you moron. Take me to your edge.
So Brenda just posted something in Discord, a definition that Earth is a closed system and that mass does not pass through it.
Okay, yeah, well, this is where we got to on the last live show. So, Brenda, what's the score with Voyager then? How's it getting where it's getting? Is that just a big fat lie? We know anyway it can't be where it is. It's in the sky vacuum, which can't possibly be real. But by your standards in your model, not reality, how does Voyager leave your model that's closed?
Well, and also I posted an article from physics.org that actually says that the atmosphere is leaking. So, okay, go ahead.
Yeah, it's leaking spaceships.
I posted 5 sources saying the Earth is a closed system.
Couldn't give a shit.
Because
anyone
couldn't
could say
care
anything.
less.
Define a closed system.
There's sources.
Hold on. Define a
There's
closed
sources.
system.
Don't care
Define
about
a closed
sources.
system.
I'm asking how Voyager left
Yeah,
if it's closed. Do you not? I don't care about the source. I haven't even read them. I'm not interested. I'm asking how bloody Voyager leaves a closed system. Is there a hatch like in Spaceballs?
It's a closed system refers to the systems of the Earth.
Sorry, I don't
It
need
doesn't
words,
refer-
Salad.
no,
I need
it
an answer
refers
to my
to the
bloody
Earth's
question. I asked a specific question about how Voyager leaves. If it's closed, no matter's escaping. That would be matter. How's it escaping from your model, this heliocentric model? Not the reality we live in, because the sky is definitely not a vacuum. But based on your reified religious belief in a heliocentric model, how is Voyager leaving if it's closed? That's my question. Not about sources or what open and closed are. How's Voyager leaving?
Voyager isn't part of the thermodynamic equilibrium systems of the Earth.
The fuck?
It left it. How is that possible if it's
And
closed?
the sources...
How did it leave a closed system? Has it got a hatch like in Spaceballs?
Now, people know that Voyager left the Earth.
How?
As well.
If it's closed! I've asked 5 times! You're saying it's closed. I'm saying if it's closed, not people believe it's left. I'm saying if it's closed, how the hell did it get out? Is there a hatch like in Spaceballs?
Everybody knows that it
She can
left
piss off.
the Earth.
Bye. Bye.
the
You're
Earth
useless to us. I don't want to be told what everybody knows. What I wanted was an answer. How the hell is Voyager leaving if you claim it's closed? Not what everybody knows, you stupid girl.
We also got PMARs in Discord if you want them unmuted.
Wonderful.
Who?
PMARs.
It's your choice.
Yeah, pop
Now
off,
we're
you.
good. We got enough stupidity.
I don't mind. P hasn't been here a while. Let's see how well he behaves
I got
himself. Be nice. Hey, P.
Hello. That's a woman?
P-Mars is a man. Any evidence of axial rotation, P-Mars? Any proof the Earth is spinning?
Are you talking to me? I was just making a coffee. Did you ask me if the Earth is spinning?
Yeah.
Making copies.
Is it accelerating?
We'll come back to you, P-Mars. Feel free. Anybody else on the panel? Any evidence at all that we've got an axis or that we rotate about this axis as per the depiction of the heliocentric reified model?
No, the whole idea is bunk because you presuppose Earth is a globe and then you presuppose there is an axis, so it cannot work.
Right. If you don't have an axis, then we need curved. So that would mean C question number 1.
Yeah.
Access denied.
That's access.
Yep.
I know.
Trying to do a reasonable summary of the housekeeping question. So, any scientific evidence of gravity?
Yeah, Aslan walked in Narnia once.
Who haven't we heard from in here? Effie, Meme Parrot, or Jack? Can you hear us? Effie, Meme Parrot. Hey, Jack.
Hi. I can hear you. Unfortunately, I don't have any evidence.
Oh, bummer. What about for gravity? Any scientific evidence of gravity?
None out here in Australia.
What else we got in here?
Probably got some tumbleweeds for that gravity, right?
Maybe we'll have more joy with a different question. Can you hear us, T Cozy? Oh, that's Babs, isn't it?
I
Yeah,
think
that's
that chocolate. I think that tumbleweeds are not caused by gravity; they're caused by air pressure differential.
Here we go. Let's try runs with
Then
scissors.
tumble.
Hey, runs with scissors. Any evidence of the distance to the sun?
I'm not sure if he's got his mic working again. He hasn't been talking past few days.
Who else haven't we heard from? I reckon
He says no mic. He says no mic, no evidence either.
No. Let's try a new question. Bobo. Earth to Bobo. Come in, Bobo. Any single viable hypothesis from any of the fields of astronomy, cosmology, or astrophysics? You try Brenda. Any evidence of the R value, Brenda?
Oh, I'm sorry. I thought I was muted.
You were.
Are you asking?
Yeah, R value evidence.
What does the letter R stand for?
Radius.
The radius. Why would you need evidence for a measure?
Because it's the fundamental basis of your religious belief in a sphere Earth.
Who
So
measured
if
it?
I want to know, if I want to measure for a door, right? I don't need evidence. I just measure it, right?
Who measured the radius of the Earth, Brenda?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
Why
So
don't you
has that
put
been-
a ruler next to
Hold on.
it, just
She might
like
have a
when
point.
you measure that
Hold on.
door?
Hold on. She might be making a point. Okay. So if I've got a door, I measure it. Yeah. And?
Yeah. Yeah. I have a door. I need a new door. So I need to measure it. And then I go to the store and I buy the correct size. I don't need evidence. The measurement is the evidence that I take to.
Okay.
Okay.
All right. Show us the measurement of the radius of the Earth.
How do you know how to calculate the radius of
Sorry,
a
did you say
sphere?
calculate?
I asked you a question.
Huey?
I don't need a question asked
Just-
back.
no.
Show us how you measured the Earth like a door.
Measure, not calculate. You didn't mention the word calculate when you were talking about measuring the door. Presumably you ran a tape measure over it.
R
right?
is
That's the
the radius.
conventional.
R is the radius of
Brenda,
a sphere.
Brenda, I'm trying to ask you a question. The conventional way of measuring things with a door, for instance, I'm just using your analogy, which I was in complete agreement with, I think you'll notice, that you just run a tape measure over it, right?
Right.
No, okay. So to measure this door, for example, I wouldn't look... For example, I wouldn't look at the sun to measure the door. I'd look at my tape measure. We are in agreement.
Yeah.
Excellent. Now, your question again, if you wouldn't mind, Quantum Eraser.
The door with a tape measure. So show us the measurement and what she used to measure the radius of the Earth. I would prefer a tape measure, but you need a long tape measure. So I'll accept something in its place that is very similar to a tape measure.
You could use an odometer in a car, right? So you could drive from two places in a car and measure the distance using an odometer.
Sure.
Right. And then if that distance is based on the Earth being a sphere, then you can, determine the radius.
No.
I'll accept an odometer. I'll accept it. Hold on. I'll accept it. Oh God. I'll accept an odometer reading. Go ahead and show us your start and end point.
Well,
the start point was Stadia, right? That was Stadia, and the assistant for Eratosthenes walked. Yeah, that was the name of that's the name of the town in Greece. No,
Eratosthenes. Hold on a second.
Eratosthenes.
Hold on a second. Are you using the odometer reading?
He measured from Stadia, which
Wait a
is
second.
the town.
Wait a second. Am I talking to PMAR? Are you on the odometer? Are you with the odometer reading, PMAR said?
Are you two in agreement? Are you fighting as one, Brenda and PMARS?
I was just trying to help Brenda.
Do you appreciate his help, Brenda?
So the way you'd measure distance.
Are
right?
you using
You measure the
PMAR's
distance from one
odometer,
town-
Brenda, it's only going to work if you actually listen to what's being said to you rather than just choosing what you're going to say to us and ignoring all responses. So the question you're being asked isn't in regards to the argument. Instead, it's in regards to what seems like a wingman, and we're trying to establish if you appreciate that he's adding to your argument. And if it's not helping your argument, please say, no, that's making my argument incoherent. Or yes, I agree, yes, odometer's what we'll be using. We need to know for your argument to be clear and concise.
What do odometers measure?
No, I'll try again, but slower. Brenda, I'll do it at your level of intellect with constant affirmation. I just need yes or no affirmation. I appreciate you're slow. Do you understand that there is another... Do you understand that there is another person on the panel also speaking called P. Mars? That's part one of about a 6-step. Do you understand P. Mars is on the panel talking also?
Yes,
Yes, excellent. Thank you, Brenda.
Yes, I understand. P. Mars.
Yes, that's just all I need is a yes. Step 2. Do you appreciate that he has also added to your argument? Do you appreciate that?
Yes, I understand that he made a point. Yes.
That's not the question. You didn't listen. I'll have to repeat the question because you're stupid.
I didn't.
Brenda, you didn't listen because you answered a different question. I don't want to have to argue about this 6-step for a dumb fuck process I'm having to go through to explain the simple question you ignored and then carried on with your argument. So, first step has been established. You understand P. Mars is on the panel and talking. Step 2, do you appreciate that he has added to your argument? Not that he's made a point. whether or not it's an addition to your argument. Do you understand that he has added to your argument, you stupid idiot, Brenda?
Yes, I do understand that, bully.
Call me a bully again, and I'll kick you out. You're stupid, because I've asked you quite clearly and concisely if you understand and appreciate that he's added to your argument, and whether or not you want him to. Is it conducive to your argument? Because he's talking about an odometer reading, and we're trying to establish if that is actually part of your argument or not. Now, that was the concise version. Do I need to continue on the 6 steps for a dumb fuck? Do I need to continue on the 6 steps? Because it seems like I've gone way too fast for you in that. Because you're going to hand wave it or talk through it, aren't you? Idiot, moron, stupid, can't comprehend what I'm saying, doesn't listen. That's you, Brenda. I'm not a bully, I'm stating facts by example. You have demonstrated all traits that I have just discussed. I'm not bullying you, I'm pointing out your stupidity. You didn't understand when I asked you to clarify whether or not PMARS is adding to your argument or not. You're still yet to do it because you're stupid.
She said yes. She is adopting that argument.
Yeah.
You are.
I figured it out 15 minutes ago. What are you talking about?
Nathan, she said she is adopting the odometer reading.
Perfect. So we're going to get a radius with an odometer reading.
No, I'm not.
Just said
no,
yes.
I'm not adopting the odometer reading.
You just said yes.
Why have I just spent the last...
I understand
it's
his
okay,
point.
let's shut her up. Clearly, I did need the 6 steps for a dumb fuck because she's too stupid to understand the concise version. That's why we've now got this confusion. I clearly and concisely asked her whether or not PMARS was adding to her argument. Got lots of silences. It seemed like we got an affirmative yes, he is adding, she is using it. And then immediately she says no. So we're back to confusion because she's too stupid to understand a concise question. Brenda, PMARS is adding to your argument. Is that something you want or not?
I understand his point that he made.
I didn't ask that. End of
that.
Brenda's time here. Fuck off. You're too stupid to converse here. Okay, love? I'll let you off. I'll just let you off mic so you acknowledge why you're going on mute. You're too stupid. You've answered the wrong question, love.
Nice
too
job,
stupid
bully
to converse
boy.
here.
Nice job, bully boy.
Yeah, you're too stupid to converse here. I didn't ask whether or not you understood that PMARS had made a point. I asked whether or not it was conducive to your point. But you're too stupid to get a concise point or question being asked. You've got a parrot that just wants to parrot, doesn't want to listen, doesn't want to acknowledge anything anybody else has said, wants to call me a bully when I point out her stupidity, yeah, but doesn't want to actually say, no, PMARS isn't adding to my argument, as I've been concisely asked 6 times. Because that's the shit we deal with here. You know, I'm asking her for evidence of Earth radius. This is what you've got. A load of bloody background noise, obfuscation techniques, PMARS jumping in with an odometer reading. Clearly too stupid to realise you can't travel with a car to the centre of a presupposed Earth. But there we go, that's what we've got when I ask for proof of R. One guy saying you can travel there in a car. What, centre of the Earth in your car, P? To get the radius?
Maybe a bicycle.
You don't have to go to the center of the Earth. You can
What's a
travel
radius? So by his declaration now, we now understand that PMARS doesn't know what a radius is.
PMARS, what's the radius of the Earth?
You can calculate the radius of a sphere by a measurement based on the surface of the sphere.
Sorry, P. You weren't listening when we talked to Brenda about the difference between measure and calculate. And we said when we're measuring a door, we don't need to calculate with the sun what the door measures. So we're measuring it. Are we, P? Measuring radius? Not calculating it, mate.
No, in my model, we're measuring.
Oh, no, not in your model. We don't care about your model. Pseudoscience, mate. We're talking about
argument. Whatever, dude.
No, we're talking about Earth and its reality. Reality, mate. No, not model. Reality. Hello?
Right. So, in a car, you can measure the surface of the sphere, right? And then based on that measurement, you can determine the radius.
No, that's you begging the question. I'm measuring the surface of a sphere, so you're already presupposing it's a sphere. The most base level argument you can have here is to beg the question. P. Have you not been watching
recently? Don't you have to create a hypothesis?
Talk through me, asshole. Have you not been watching recently, P? You don't need to talk through me because you get smashed immediately. The most base level argument you can have on flat earth debate is to beg the question. Automatically assume your outcome. And you have. I'm travelling over a sphere. So what, you just declared that it's a sphere in your example? It's the most base argument you can have here, P.
Okay, I'm not begging the question because what we're doing is we're creating a hypothesis and then we're testing the hypothesis. Measuring.
Really? What's the observed phenomenon?
Oh, really?
That the Earth is a sphere?
Oh, that's you. You observed that, have you?
No, that's his begging the question fallacy. He's just taking the piss out of us. He's not that stupid. I know him well enough to know he's taking the piss. No, your observed phenomena is not your begging the question fallacy. The Earth is a sphere. No. Yeah, you're not going to piss in our face here, P. It's not funny.
Yeah, but I'm not begging the question, so that doesn't really apply to my argument.
As you're begging the question, you're assuming the very thing you're attempting to prove, a sphere. You're a dumbass. And always been a dumbass.
What is a hypothesis in an experiment?
It's not a hypothesis. You don't have a dependent variable. The question's not even context. You're an idiot.
That was quick. You want a quick string of nutters, P? Go ahead.
Well, I'm pretty sure when a scientist does an experiment, they create a
You don't know what a scientist is. You don't know what an experiment is. What are the three constituent parts of an experiment?
Black people.
No. Right.
Goodbye.
That's your last. No, he only got one chance here.
There we go.
Bye. That's it. Bye, P. Just overt racism
fact,
when he gets held to task. It's no need for it. Only I can be racist about black people.
Yeah. Don't do that in here, boy.
Wow, P-Mars, what a return you've made. Thanks for coming back.
I don't know about you guys, but the joke is usually funny because it's ironic. That was really fucking funny. The irony, he has shit to say. He has nothing to add to the argument. All he has is racist slurs every time he gets back into the corner. And he says words like nigger, which means ignorant. And that's all he is. It's ironic.
The thing that annoys me about it is he means
hilarious.
it. That's the thing that really grinds my gears with it. Occasionally I'll throw in an overt racist joke because it's understood by everybody who's listening to that joke that I'm not against black people. Now, P-Mars will say the same thing, and I know he is. In other words, it's said with disgust and disdain on his part, and it's just an outrage. It really angers me, because he is actually bloody racist.
Really? Actually, not just as a bluff?
No, he's actually racist.
What?
P-Mars is just a racist.
Are you kidding?
I thought he was just a lunatic.
You have not heard this dude say dumb shit to me. Are you kidding?
Hello, I've heard P-Mar say the dumbest shit ever and be totally out of whack. As it were. I didn't think he was actually really racist. I just thought he did it to shock people.
No, he does it. He does it to get away with his actual racism. So he's using the same vibe I would use if I say, well, actually, I'm a very proud black woman. You know, it's a double whammy for the LGBT people. But the point is that it's overtly not true, therefore funny. Well, I'm not saying that to have a dig specifically at black people when I'm overtly not black and saying I am. It's just a joke. P-Mars will use the same similar idea of being over-the-top racist so he can get away with actually being racist.
Okay, that's disturbing, if that's really the case. Didn't know that.
Anyway, it's pointless. The whole thing spans back to whatever it was a couple of shows ago. I forget when. When you're appealing to somebody when they're putting out their evidence, It's the same if the person's a stone cold murderer locked up and they put out a good point that's logical and backable and, you know, empirical. If they're talking about something that's scientifically related, it doesn't matter who they are. Whether or not their claim is right or wrong is all that matters. Can you double check what they're claiming? Can they back it with evidence? If so, is the evidence actually proving what they've claimed? If so, what they've claimed is legitimate, and it doesn't matter what they've said or who they are or what they've done. Literally matters not. The only example, as given before, is if you've got legal evidence, totally different standard. If you're looking at somebody's claimed sighting of whatever, or claimed first-hand account of a crime taking place, and it's their eyewitness testimony, then yeah, you look at how credible they are. Have they told non-stop lies in their life? Well, then you probably don't want to believe them when they claim they've seen something. But that's totally subjective, and you have to go on credibility in that instance. We're not using that standard here. We're using the standard of science. Has it been validated by systematic experimentation? If it's a claim of cause and effect at all, half the time people will ask us to validate something by science that's not even a cause and effect relationship. We had it on the last show. I'll calm my tone because it was a friendly who was asking. The Pete and Pete thing came up again about whether or not water is actually H2O.
From who?
I can't remember. I don't want to drop a minute anyway, whoever it was.
Was it Asian?
Yeah, water's not H2O.
Was it you?
Oh, it's the one. He was mumbling. Go ahead, the one. Speak up.
Yeah, so...
You're kidding me.
No, I'm not.
I'm sorry, are you kidding me?
No, he's doing some new research and he's trying to figure it out. It's tough.
I'll tell you what, you better go find another group then. Go find Pete and Pete. I'm not tolerating it. Sorry.
He's still figuring it out. He's not making any absolute declarations yet, as far as I heard. Right, Dejan?
Yeah.
Exactly. It's very tough.
Because there are serious issues with chemistry.
You're on shaky fucking ground right now, I'm telling you. Are you in Discord?
Nope.
You're
currently,
lucky.
No, I'm in G+.
Yeah.
What do you mean
You're
by
lucky.
I'm on shaky ground? Explain
You're on
yourself.
shaky ground. Go to Pete and Pete's, right?
Why
With
should I
water's
go
an
there?
element. We've dealt with this stuff before. I'm not dealing with this anymore.
Well, he's not
Take your
making
nonsense over
declarations
to
that
Pete.
they make. He's just saying, look, they are unraveling certain details that require more exploration and looking into. That's what Dejan is doing. He's not standing behind Pete and Pete's statements. Okay, QE?
Yeah, basically, when I was dealing with my research, I found out that a lot of the chemistry processes don't add up for me. So I started looking at someone who's dealing with chemistry, and that's where I found Pete and Pete, and I saw what they are doing. So I kind of have a similar approach and sense as they have about stuff we've been taught as a fact.
Chemistry is an actual science, right? You heard of the periodic table before.
He's not claiming anything yet. Can you let him finish?
Yeah. So the question for you, John, is it's for water.
I'm not answering any of your questions, Pete.
He's not.
I'm well aware of that. Don't worry. He's
Dejan, finish.
John, it's not gonna hurt, but don't worry. So in nature, do we ever observe water splitting into hydrogen and oxygen?
The answer is no.
Are you asking me a question about fucking water?
No.
Yeah,
yes.
In nature,
Okay, you're not. He's not in Discord, is he?
No, he's not.
Okay.
Stop eating with your mouth full, John.
You can't not eat with your mouth full. That's nonsense.
I mean talking.
Mr. I sip tea every morning on my show. You need to calm down too.
Have you seen that? Have you seen that sock slurp win? That's just brilliant. I pissed myself when I saw that.
No, it's slip win. Slip win.
Slurp
Anyway,
win.
back to the water.
Whoever that is, it's a friendly. I'm sure they're being nice.
Criticism on my tea drinking?
Yeah.
That was me.
Okay.
So, John.
Stop eating with your mouth full. You're right. That's pretty silly, but that's like, shut up when you're talking to me.
So, John, do we observe, because you have this background, so you'll be the person that will tell for certain, do we observe in nature water to split in hydrogen and oxygen?
All right, do you have a death wish?
Are you death?
You must have a death wish. What is particularly confusing about Pete? State this. I'm not dealing with your Pete nonsense, water's an element horse shit. I'm not dealing with that. Ask somebody else. You're lucky you're not in Discord.
This is called being a bitch. You don't even want to argue photons. You don't want to talk about molecules. You just want to
come on,
nonsense, don't you?
No.
Just want
No use asking
It's
a
not your
question to
opportunity
somebody
to
that
stick the boot
declares
in.
they're not going to answer anything. So
Yeah, I agree. It's not your opportunity to stick the boot in. So my slurp win.
Jason, you can always talk
I would
to
say
me.
that I would say, John, that it's a shame that I get a lot of my surety from the process in which you do things. This is an area in which I heard something that you obviously think is horseshit, and I can't look to you for reference because you refuse to have the conversation.
Because I already had the conversation. The past. Go back in the past. Me and Adam discussed this at length. Elijah, I'm not doing it again.
Discuss the same shit over and over for 1,000 shows. Why you can't discuss it anymore because you know you're gonna get work?
Can I try and field that? I want to try and calm down Quantum Eraser, so I'll try and field that. How does this relate to the nature of Earth?
Well, this relates to the gas pressure thing and relates to relative density.
Water's not gas.
Yeah, but water turns into gas. And they are connected with pressure, because if you have less pressure, then water evaporates.
Yeah.
Well,
What's that
that's how it's related.
Right.
What's that got to do with the nature of Earth?
Well, everything.
Come on, Nathan, don't be so obtuse.
I'm not being obtuse. I'm asking specifically how it's relatable in his question.
Gas pressure and Earth are very related. That's one of the questions in the housekeeping. So when we're talking about gas pressure and when things become gas,
I heard him, Anon.
it's very important.
I heard him. But that's gas pressure. I've got a housekeeping question that covers that, haven't I? This isn't about that, though. This is about water, specifically. And his question, his opening gambit is, does water get separated chemically in nature? That's his opening gambit. And I'm asking how this relates.
Okay,
so
then the
it's not
answer is
me
no.
being...
The answer is
I'm
no.
being interrupted by Anon, of course. So I'm not being obtuse, am I?
You are.
What?
Let him answer the
Anon,
question.
shut
Let
up.
QE stop blocking QE.
Trolling, Anon. Come on.
Don't block. Seriously.
So the reason is that when you have a claim that the atmoplane consists of 78% nitrogen, 21% oxygen, there should be a way for people to split those gases. So if you take a cubic meter of air, then you should be able to split it into 78% nitrogen and 21% oxygen.
But it has the 70% nitrogen. Wait, no. Did you say nitrogen or hydrogen?
Nitrogen.
Hydrogen, right? Well,
nitrogen. And
okay, right. Okay, never mind.
So the people who produce machines that use pressure swing absorptions state in their manuals that the machine that produces the nitrogen or splits the air into two, nitrogen and oxygen, and gives you the nitrogen as a product, it's exhausting air. And then where is the oxygen that was split, that was supposed to be exhausted? Why is it air and not compressed oxygen as a result of the splitting of the gases?
What? Why would it get compressed? Compression is something that has to be externally applied. It's not the natural state in the pressure within this realm.
Can I send you the manual and you can go through what the machine does and then ask questions?
Sorry, but oxygen and all that, nitrogen, it only becomes liquid under heavy pressure.
Who said liquid, bro?
What? You did?
No. Are you listening?
I'm apparently not hearing it all too well. Sorry. Never mind.
A machine that pressurizes gas in like very heavy containers, so it's high pressure gas,
right?
Nitrogen and then oxygen. So it uses a molecular sieve that's like small tiny balls. So it compresses the gas inside that thing, and from the machine you get your nitrogen. So you get pure nitrogen, let's say 99.9%. But then the machine needs to exhaust all the other compressed gas, and it should be only oxygen left. But then the manufacturer states that the machine exhausts air, not oxygen, and it should be only oxygen.
Why?
I mean,
why? Why can it not be some nitrogen?
Arwen,
and
listen. You have a liter of air. Okay? You compress it and you split it in two. What do you have?
In a container, right?
Yeah, 78% nitrogen and 21% oxygen.
Yeah, and all the other stuff in there.
Yeah, that's 0.1% or 2%. Doesn't matter. But still,
CO2, all the other things.
yeah, but still, you have 21%. Okay, let's say 20% oxygen and 77% nitrogen.
Right.
So when you split it, you end up with those two. This is what the machine does. But one of the gases is always missing. If the machine produces oxygen, the nitrogen is missing. If the machine produces nitrogen, the oxygen is missing.
Missing?
Yeah.
What do you mean missing?
It should be exhausted when the gases are separated. First, the machine compresses.
Yeah, I understand that, but
no. First,
but is there a lack of pressure, or
No.
is the entire pressure output the same or not?
Wait. First, the machine compresses a certain amount of gas, then it splits it. But the gas that you get as an exhaust, it's not what it's supposed to be.
But it is the same pressure amount, right?
Yes.
Okay. So yeah, well, that's very fascinating. There may be something weird going on there. It's certainly worth studying. Doesn't mean that water is an element, though. It just means there's something weird going on. It's very worthwhile investigating. Thanks.
Well,
I didn't know that.
Back to water, if you skip the part that water does not conduct electricity, and if you don't observe in nature water becoming hydrogen and oxygen, then that's a man-made thing. It's a process that man created so it can transfer one gas from a liquid state to a gaseous state into another gas.
No, I don't have any idea where you even remotely get that conclusion from. Really. Just because we can only produce the gases separately with man-made devices, because yeah, those electricity and the conductors and all that doesn't typically normally exist in nature. That's true. You got to kind of insert all that stuff unnaturally through a man-made device. But yeah, the gases definitely split up in two different types of gases.
Yeah, we know that.
Can I finish? Within a closed container where nothing is vented out, just water And then there's two different types of gases. One doesn't burn, but it makes you pretty high if you breathe it in. The other one, it burns pretty rapidly. And if you then mix it up and you then burn it, then you explode.
Yes,
so,
we all know that from school. Yes. Now let's look at the stuff that everybody's overlooking in that process. First of all, you cannot electrolyte pure water, and we are concerned about water, not water with ingredients that's impure.
That's right. There's salt in there. And that salt is all accounted for and left behind after the water has been vaporized into the gases. All of it.
Do you know what's
lost?
Arwen, before the water is evaporated, you have to put more salt into it. If you put just a small amount of salt, the electrolysis will stop at one point.
It has to properly conduct. And then as the water evaporates, it will become more salt.
Come on, let me finish. So that's one of the points. The other point is when you pour the salt inside the water, why isn't it bubbles coming from everywhere if it's the salt needed for the water to decompose, as there is electricity everywhere inside, and it only comes from the anode and the cathode?
Because that is where the reaction takes place.
So how many substances you need to generate gases?
You need water and you need the proper conductors, which is salt, which is the rod, the elements, and then the reaction takes place very close in proximity to those specific rods with those substances.
Yeah, but what happens when one of your rods decomposes and you have to place another one? Do you account for this?
Yeah, but that's rarely necessary because you need a lot of water to vaporize before you get to that. It reacts. It does react. Hey, salt actually reacts with metals. This is known, but it's a separate reaction.
Do you guys both hear other people talking?
No.
Nope.
Who else is talking? I can't hear anyone else talking.
Lemon Bird is talking.
Oh.
I cannot hear him.
I can't hear Lemon
You guys
Bird
don't
either.
hear Lemon Bird?
No. Where?
I'll disconnect this Discord and then rejoin.
Oh, my bad.
I thought,
I had something,
like, are
I
you
had
hearing
something else
Tweety
open.
Bird?
I'm sorry. I had something else open. I'm sorry. Continue, guys. My bad.
Were you
I was
imagining
going
it?
nuts
Hold on.
for a second.
Is there a problem with Discord, or was Chocolate having an acid flashback? Which one was it?
It's not a problem otherwise.
Yeah, that was acid flashback. Yes.
Okay, cool.
My bad.
So yeah, that's a big concern, and everybody just whistling past it as it's nothing, and it's a big thing about water.
No, it's not. Now, there's still something there, though, okay? But I don't think it is what you think it is. It's very interesting, though, but I totally put down how the mechanics of it work. And there is no substance lost except for the water. The salt remains behind. There is some kind of interaction with the rods, and that's it. But all of the salt is accounted for. All of the metals are accounted for, the original masses of it. And the water turns into two separate gases with separate properties. And that's just it. I have seen it. I've seen it demonstrated in front of me.
Arwen, now I'll set up a water bathtub, small tub for electrolysis. I'll use graphite rods, and I will use normal salt. Now tell me what will happen first. I'll have to put more salt, or I'll have to change one of the rods.
You have to what? Sorry? The rods?
I will put the rods in water. I'll connect them to do electrolysis. I'll put some salt in, some small amount, just to get the process started. And tell me what will happen first. Should I have to put more salt?
Yes. Always more salt first, because the amount of salt must be proportional to the amount of total water being subjected to the process. And the concentration of salt will grow as more is evaporated.
Okay. And what do you think it will happen? At one point, will the water evaporate first, or the cathode or the anode will break down and I'll have to replace it?
With graphite? I don't know the difference. Is that different type of setup?
Like a pencil thing in the middle, you know?
Yeah, I don't know. I don't even know if specifically graphite was used for that in the demonstration that I saw. I don't remember. It's more than 20 years ago.
It's conductive.
I don't know. I'd have to see it.
All right. I'll film one especially for you.
Okay,
And we'll
cool.
discuss it later. So, topic closed for now.
All right, I'd love to see where you're going with this shit because I'm really curious. And I think you are unraveling like little pieces, missing Easter eggs kind of hidden in between chemistry. I think there's more to it. But I haven't seen things though that just completely contradict the fundamentals or the periodic table. Not really. But transmutation, there is interesting stuff there. The concept of the filtering, what you just mentioned, is very fascinating. I want to know more about that. So yeah, keep me updated.
I'll send you the manual of the machine. Plus,
Cool.
I have a friend.
If you find interesting stuff or videos, don't be shy to post it in the early bird chat.
Yeah. Plus, I have a friend that produces liquid nitrogen in huge quantities, like manufacturer. So.
Okay. Cool.
Okay then. Excellent. We exhausted the subject?
Yep. Any evidence of Earth curvature?
There was a couple of housekeeping questions left, like self-perpetuating molten iron core at the centre of a presupposed spherical Earth.
No way, balls spinning inside balls. That should make us dizzy.
Yeah. Yeah, I still want to know even like the very nature of volcanoes, you know? Because that is obviously where much of the molten iron core would be inspired on. It's always drug in there as to, oh, that's under the volcano. But what is it actually? And how deep do volcano pockets go? And these are also kind of mysterious questions. But yeah, to assume that it is inside of the Earth vastly as it is supposed to be, there's no clue of that whatsoever.
Covered about gas pressure without a container.
No, I don't think there's any examples of that. In order for gas pressure to manifest and find some kind of equilibrium, for that possibility, there must be a limited amount of volume for the gas pressure to settle in.
By something somehow.
Yeah, indeed. Whether it be a physical barrier or a conceptual limited amount of space in any way, there has to be a limited amount of volume in order for gas pressure to be able to stabilize, to find an equilibrium in any way.
So we can have the delta X.
Yep.
Well, that's it then. That's all the housekeeping questions covered after about 53 minutes of show.
Yeah.
Any globeheads want to share their pain?
Probably end up sharing it in the after show, because with that I'm going to say, first and foremost, a huge, massive, enormous thank you to both Discord and G+ panels for making this show possible. If you are watching this on the Nathan Oakley premiering stream, then stay tuned, as there will be an after show to follow. Unfortunately, if you're watching this on Nathan Oakley 1980, this is where we bid you farewell. A huge, massive, enormous thank you to all of you tuned in, smashed the super chat, liked, commented, shared, subscribed, and all that good stuff. As I say, stay tuned if you're watching on Nathan Oakley premiering stream. I'll see you all in the next video.
Oh, what a day! What a lovely day!